In the old quarter of picturesque Greyhaven, the sudden death of the respected and enigmatic Dr. Victor Harrow sent shockwaves through the entire community. His body was discovered in his old Victorian mansion, contorted in an expression of unspeakable terror, with no visible wounds or signs of a struggle. Detective Elaine Mercer, known for her tenacity and no-nonsense attitude, was tasked with solving the mysterious case. The townsfolk whispered of the mansion's dark history, laden with tales of strange experiments and unnatural occurrences. Her first step was to investigate the few people close to Dr. Harrow. There was his assistant, Thomas, who was deeply loyal but visibly shaken by the doctor's death. Next was the housekeeper, Mrs. Adler, who had worked for Dr. Harrow for years and was found weeping uncontrollably at the scene. Lastly, there was Dr. Harrow's estranged brother, Richard, who harbored a deep resentment towards him for undisclosed reasons. As Elaine delved into Dr. Harrow's life, she uncovered his obsession with the occult and paranormal research. His study was filled with ancient artifacts, forbidden texts, and cryptic notes about contacting the spirit world. The townsfolk's whispers about the mansion started to form a chilling picture. The twist came when Elaine found a hidden room in the mansion, behind a bookshelf in Dr. Harrow's study. The room was set up as a shrine, with an elaborate circle drawn on the floor and surrounded by strange symbols. In the center lay a journal, the last entry detailing Dr. Harrow's intent to perform a ritual to bridge the gap between the living and the dead. As Elaine read the journal, the air in the room grew cold, and the mansion seemed to groan under the weight of an unseen presence. Suddenly, the pages of the journal began to turn on their own, stopping on a passage that described a spirit entity, a malevolent force that Dr. Harrow believed he could control. Confronting Thomas, Mrs. Adler, and Richard with her findings, Elaine was met with a mixture of fear and disbelief. None could provide a clear explanation, but all shared a sense that Dr. Harrow had been meddling with forces beyond his understanding. The case took an even darker turn when Mrs. Adler, driven mad by grief and fear, admitted to witnessing the ritual. She claimed that during the ritual Dr. Harrow's demeanor changed, as if something else had taken control of him. She fled the room in terror, leaving the doctor to his fate. Unable to prove a natural cause of death, and with no clear evidence of foul play, Elaine was forced to leave the case unsolved, attributing Dr. Harrow's death to a heart attack. But as she left the mansion, a feeling of dread lingered. In the shadows of the old Victorian house, it seemed as if the very air whispered the truth, that Dr. Harrow had summoned something he could not control, and it had claimed him as its own. The legend of Dr. Victor Harrow's unnatural death became another ghostly tale, whispered in hushed tones, a chilling reminder of the dangers that lurk in the pursuit of forbidden knowledge.